Hello everyone, I'm very happy to see you on the Holly Lolly channel, where we not only talk about Japan, but also try to figure out how to navigate romantic relationships without a language barrier or culture shock. Today's a hot topic: why you should and shouldn't date Japanese girls. Yes, today we're going to talk about mysterious, sweet, incredibly neat, and sometimes unpredictably quiet. Before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. By the way, all the information in this video isn't just some snippets from forums or anime. I had a series of interviews where expats living in Japan honestly and openly shared their opinions, including about relationships. You'll see clips and real stories. Some didn't want to appear publicly and shared their personal experiences off camera. So this video will include both direct quotes and retellings of real-life situations. Let's start with the pros. Number 1, care and attention to detail. Almost intuitive care and service. With a Japanese girl, you might not even have time to think that you want tea, and it's already in front of you, in your favorite mug, at the right temperature. This isn't an exaggeration, it's a feature of the culture of care. Japanese girls are good at noticing micro details, and they do it not because they have to, but because it really matters to them. She'll remember how you like to wrap yourself in a blanket, which sauce you can't stand, and that you don't like when the door is left slightly open. And you think that you didn't even say anything about it, but she still noticed. Even during an argument, she won't slam the door, she'll just bring you a blanket and quietly go into another room so you can calm down. That's not passiveness, it's a style. Care here isn't in loud gestures, but in calm and quiet presence. In the feeling that next to you isn't a storm of a person, but someone who really takes care of you. And here's what Dennis thinks about Japanese girls. Tell us please, from an everyday perspective, what are Japanese girls like?
Over a long period of time, I can't really evaluate it because we only meet about once every 2 weeks, so to speak, but I really like the fact that when we rented an apartment, she promised to cook me a traditional Japanese dinner. While she was cooking, in addition to preparing the food, she also made sure my glass of beer was always full, which was a bit surprising to me since I offered to help her with the cooking, because it didn't feel right. Not only did she do everything herself, she also made sure everything was going smoothly.
Number 2, softness and delicacy in communication. Everything is fine, even when it's not. Japanese girls are known for their softness and delicacy in communication. They try to avoid direct conflicts and open expressions of dissatisfaction. Instead, they prefer to express their feelings indirectly through hints and subtle signals. For example, if something's wrong, she might just say that everything's fine with a light smile, but that could mean she's upset or hurt. This style of communication requires the partner to be sensitive and able to read between the lines. One foreigner shared that his Japanese girlfriend never directly said when something was bothering her. He had to figure it out from her behavior. It was hard, but over time, he learned to understand her signals. Number 3, the ability to maintain a cozy home where everything is in its place. Japanese girls often place great importance on coziness and order at home. They know how to create a warm and comfortable atmosphere where everything has its place. This shows in neat cleaning, attention to interior details, and the ability to cook delicious meals. One of my acquaintances who lives in Tokyo mentioned that his Japanese wife knows how to create coziness like no one else. The house is always clean, the food is delicious, and he feels comfortable. Number 4, neatness and a sense of style and aesthetics in absolutely everything. Japanese girls are known for their neatness and sense of style. They carefully maintain their appearance, preferring elegant and modest outfits. This may be related to the popularity of subcultures like the Mori style, which emphasizes naturalness and a love for nature. It is characterized by layered clothing made of natural fabrics, calm colors, and handmade accessories. Girls who follow this style create the image of a romantic forest girl who values nature and a slow-paced lifestyle. Number 5, respect for personal boundaries and space without pressure. Japanese girls usually respect their partner's personal space and boundaries. They aren't prone to clingy behavior or excessive control. This is shown in how they don't demand constant attention, don't create scenes of jealousy, and don't interfere in personal matters without necessity. One acquaintance shared his experience. His Japanese girlfriend never meddles in his business, respects his space, and doesn't ask for reports about his every move. This feels very refreshing compared to his previous experiences. Number 6, interest in foreigners. You're like an anime or drama hero to her, many Japanese girls show genuine interest in foreigners. This may be due to a desire to learn about another culture, practice the language, or simply curiosity about a new experience. Foreigners often mention that Japanese girls are interested in their country, traditions, and lifestyle. However, it's important to remember that interest in foreigners can vary, from a sincere desire to learn the culture to a superficial fascination. Number 7, hardworking and independent. She doesn't expect you to do everything for her. Japanese girls are often very hardworking and strive to be independent. Many of them balance work, studies, and household responsibilities, while still finding time for hobbies and self-development. Japanese women know how to combine traditional values with a modern drive for independence. This shows in their ability to care for the family while also building a career. Number 8, cooks well and loves to cook. Cooking is a form of showing love. In Japan, cooking is not just about making food, it's a real art. Many Japanese girls learn to cook traditional dishes from childhood and do it with love and attention to detail. One study published on a Japanese website noted that a high level of cooking skills in women is positively linked to social attitude and social activity. This highlights the importance of cooking in Japanese culture. One of my acquaintances shared that his Japanese girlfriend cooks incredibly delicious food. Every dish is like a work of art. It's one of the ways she expresses her care. We've looked at 8 wonderful qualities of Japanese girls that make relationships with them special. However, just like in any relationship, there are also challenges. In the next part of the video, we'll talk about the possible difficulties and cultural differences that a foreigner might face in a relationship with a Japanese girl. Point number 1, emotional restraint. When she says everything is fine, it might mean the opposite. Japanese girls are often reserved in expressing emotions, even when something is bothering them. They might not show it openly. Instead of expressing their feelings directly, they prefer to stay calm and smile. One acquaintance shared that his Japanese girlfriend always said that everything was fine, even when it was obvious something was wrong. He had to guess what was bothering her. This kind of restraint can make communication difficult and lead to misunderstandings in the relationship. Point number 2, it's hard to know what she's really thinking. A smile doesn't always mean agreement. In Japanese culture, it's common to avoid direct refusals or expressions of disagreement. This can lead to situations where the girl agrees with you out of politeness, but actually feels differently. One acquaintance said that they agreed to meet at a certain place and time, but she didn't show up. Later, it turned out she didn't want to go, but didn't want to hurt him by saying no. This kind of uncertainty can cause confusion and misunderstandings in relationships. Point number 3, dependence on public opinion. What others might say is more important than personal feelings. In Japanese society, great importance is placed on the opinion of others. This can influence the behavior and decisions of Japanese girls, especially in relationships with foreigners. Dependence on public opinion can hinder the development of a relationship and cause stress for both partners. Now, let's listen to a story about a Japanese girl and her dependence on what others think, shared by Dennis.
It was already our 3rd date, and I thought maybe it was time to kiss the Japanese girl. And the situation was such that we were in an izakaya on the 2nd floor where there was no one except us. So I approached the moment casually, but she refused, saying it was a public place, even though there was literally no one around.
Point number 4, pressure to conform. Individuality under pressure. In Japan, there is a certain standard of female beauty and behavior that many girls try to meet. This can lead to individuality being suppressed in favor of social expectations. This drive to meet standards can make it harder to build deep and sincere relationships. There is an unspoken image of the ideal woman in Japanese society. She should be modest, polite, smiling, with perfectly straight bangs and the weight of an average schoolgirl. And almost everyone tries to fit into this image. Wanting to be extremely thin is not uncommon. In a culture where thin means beautiful, girls weighing 45 kilograms start to worry. And when it hits 50, it feels like a catastrophe. One guy shared that his Japanese girlfriend kept apologizing for eating too much, even though during dinner she only ate half a rice ball and drank water. He ate more, but ended up feeling guilty about it. This isn't just about appearance. In Japan, you're raised from childhood to be part of the group, not to stand out as an individual. Expressing your own opinion means risking the harmony. If you ask a girl what she thinks, there's a chance she'll reply with the same question, and then the game begins. You try to figure out where she actually is in all this, and where it's just a socially acceptable answer. It's no surprise that many foreigners feel like they're not talking talking to different girls, but to the same girl in different dresses. Of course, there are exceptions, but if you're looking for fire, spontaneity, and uniqueness, you'll have to search a bit longer. Point number 5, high standards for herself and her partner. The checklist ideal. Japanese girls often set high standards for both themselves and their chosen partner. They strive to meet certain expectations in appearance and behavior and expect the same from the man in their life. For example, they tend to prefer men who are tall, well-educated, and have a stable income. Even though the average height of Japanese men is relatively short, girls often look for someone noticeably taller than themselves. Point number 6, you'll always be a gaijin, a stranger in your own home. In Japan, the word gaijin means foreigner, and unfortunately, it often carries a sense of otherness. Even if you've lived in Japan for many years, you may still feel like an outsider. One woman living in Japan said that even after 8 years there, she still feels like I had two heads. People look at her with curiosity, but not as an equal. This feeling can seep into personal relationships, especially if your partner's family or friends don't fully accept you. Point number 7, not always ready for open conversations. Let's take a look at the concepts of hone and tatame. In Japanese culture, hone means one's true feelings, and tatame means socially acceptable behavior. This means that a person may hide their real thoughts to maintain harmony in society. In relationships, this can show up when your partner avoids open conversations about problems or dissatisfaction. Instead, she may prefer silence or subtle hints.
They don't say anything good or bad. They rarely give compliments. They rarely talk about their feelings, and they rarely say the opposite either. If they don't like something about you, they'll keep it to themselves until the very end, until there's a breakup argument. I had situations where I dated a Japanese guy for a whole year, and then he broke up with me saying he didn't like that I didn't wash the dishes right away.
Point number 8, expecting you to be like a Japanese person, you need to adapt. Even if your partner is interested in a relationship with a foreigner, she might still expect you to behave in a Japanese way. This includes following Japanese norms, manners, and even lifestyle. For example, she might expect you to adopt the Japanese style of communication, avoid openly expressing emotions, and follow certain social rules. One of my acquaintances said that his girlfriend wanted him to be more Japanese, not show emotions, not argue, and always agree. It was hard for him.
They're not open to communication and don't talk about emotions, neither good nor bad. They're so unaccustomed to expressing anything to each other that even the smallest negative, like asking to turn off the TV, felt like an attack to him, like I was trying to start a fight. We spent months discussing this, that it's okay, that I wanted him to also tell me everything he didn't like. And it took us 6 months of building it up. I was retraining him to communicate so he wouldn't just endure things, but speak up. That was the biggest challenge in our relationship, the inability to tell each other both the good and the bad.
These kinds of expectations can lead to a loss of personal identity and create tension in the relationship. Point number 9, the sharp switch to wife mode. From kawaii to commander in one marriage. While you're dating, she's gentle, sweet, caring. You have breakfast together, she smiles, makes heart-shaped bento, and then you get married. And what happens next? The heart in the bento is replaced by a cleaning schedule, and the kawaii anime girl turns into a household operations manager. This isn't always the case, but some men say that after marriage, their wives become much more strict, structured, and businesslike. One foreigner told me that before marriage, she was always shy, and afterward, it was like she took off a mask. Everything was on a schedule, everything by the rules. Now he's afraid to be late even for lunch at his own home. My Japanese teacher, who teaches us occasionally, expressed a desire to meet us in person because we usually only meet online. She herself arranged the meeting, even though she had to travel about 2 hours because she doesn't live in Tokyo. She came to meet us, and after just 5 minutes, we'd only managed to order tea and dessert. I asked her if she wanted to eat something and offered to order food, but she declined, saying she was finishing her tea and leaving. Barely 10 minutes had passed, and I was very surprised she was the one who initiated the meeting and wanted to chat in person, and now she was saying she had to go home. I asked why. She said her husband would be finishing work soon and coming home for dinner. I asked if she needed to cook. She said everything was already prepared. She'd even partially set the table. I asked why. Maybe he could eat alone and she could eat here. She was really surprised by my question and said that they've been married for 10 years and have never had a single breakfast or dinner dinner separately. She said in Japan it's tradition to eat together. I don't know if it's all Japanese or just in their family. She said she could never skip dinner with her husband. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not what we're used to. Point number 10, family pressure and questions like, how can you marry a foreigner? Even if your love story feels like a movie, in Japan, family plays a big role, and gaijin doesn't always get a warm welcome. The mother may be sweet, but distant at the same time. The grandmother is polite, but suspicious. And the father stays silent, but it feels intimidating. One acquaintance recalled that his wife's parents didn't acknowledge their marriage for 5 years. They would visit, but the parents wouldn't call him by name, just stayed silent or nodded. Sometimes there's full support, but it's best to be prepared for some cultural caution. And finally, all the stories you've just heard are real-life cases, not universal rules. Not all Japanese women are the same, and let's be honest, there are no perfect people in any culture. Each person is a whole world, a whole universe with their own quirks, fears, joys, and habits. Trust your heart, but make decisions with your head, and may your story be truly yours, not someone else's script. Please let me know in the comments, would you ever consider a relationship with a Japanese woman? Or maybe you already have. Right below, it'll be interesting to read. Thanks for staying with me and watching this episode to the end. Like and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next episodes on the Holly Lolly channel. Bye bye!